The Ultimatum. The Galactic Council chamber loomed like a jewel of authority above the neutral system of Zentha Prime. Inside, beneath crystalline arches and ambient starlight filtered through transparent alloy panels, 1,000 delegates from across the galaxy waited in orderly tension. The air buzzed with murmurs and untranslated clicks, flutters, and subharmonics. Every corner of the known galaxy had a voice here. All of them were gathered for one reason: the Terran question. At the chamber's heart stood High Speaker Zaker of the Varelian Dominion, his gold-chased robes flowing like mercury as he raised his claws for silence. He did not need to shout. His species had long mastered the art of authority. "The matter before us," Zaker declared, "is no longer one of speculation or diplomacy. The Terran Empire has violated trade accords, denied inspection of their warp field technology, and established militarized outposts along 3 Council-protected systems. We have warned them. We have sanctioned them. Now, we present them with an ultimatum." A murmur of agreement rippled across the chamber. The Brilliant Swarm ambassador rattled her wings in approval. Even the ancient, neutral Therii emitted a pulse of light. Passive agreement. Only a few held back. The Ocean Confederacy, longtime allies of Terra, watched in disquiet. Zaker gestured, and a holographic projection ignited behind him. Images of Terran ships, dark and angular, bristling with weapons that were unaccounted for in Council records. Several members hissed or flashed warning colors. Then the doors opened. Ambassador Catherine Vale of the Terran Empire entered, her long coat bearing no insignia, her pace slow but unyielding. She bowed slightly, a mere formality, and took her place on the floor as the ultimatum was formally presented. "Ambassador Vale," Zaker said with smug precision, "the Council demands the following within 7 rotations. The dismantling of all militarized outposts outside Sol-authorized space, the full technological disclosure of your singularity-based warp drives, and the ratification of trade compliance protocols. Failure to do so will result in coordinated enforcement under Council law. Do you understand?" Silence fell. Catherine tilted her head slightly. "We understand." Zaker raised a brow ridge. "And your response?" She smiled faintly. "The Terran Empire will respond in kind." That was all she said. Then she turned and left the chamber, her boots echoing like war drums against the polished floor. Later, on board the Terran flagship Judicator's Wrath, Catherine Vale stood before a private comm screen, speaking directly to Emperor Dorian Rain. His image flickered in real time, his presence commanding even through data streams stretched across light years. "They've given us 7 days," she said. Rain's eyes glinted like forged steel. "Then we will give them 6. Operation Iron Echo." "Yes, but make it surgical. No casualties, just silence. Let them feel our restraint before they ever see our wrath." He paused. "Let the galaxy remember that Terra does not kneel." Scene: Galactic Council Private Debrief. Zaker stood with several high-ranking delegates, already celebrating the apparent success of their ultimatum. The Draxri enforcer clicked its mandibles in satisfaction. "I must admit," it said, "I expected more resistance." "They're clever mammals," Zaker said, "but they know their place now." But then the reports began. First, a Council observation post near the Terran frontier went silent. Then, a key data relay satellite in the Zara Belt stopped transmitting. A trade convoy under Council protection reported being shadowed by unidentified vessels, dark, silent, and invisible to standard scans. They dismissed it as coincidence. Then the black signal came. Scene: Terra's Inner Council. In a subterranean war chamber buried beneath Antarctica, the inner circle of the Terran Empire sat around a circular command hub. The room was shadowed, lit by red ambient lights and flickering tactical feeds. Admiral Halvorsen, one of the architects of Terra's defense doctrine, stood beside a hologram of the galactic map. Several Council systems pulsed in red. "Their ultimatum is a bluff," he said. "Their fleets are scattered, their supply lines thin, and their unity fragile." An AI known only as Leggett floated nearby, its voice calm and neutral. Simulations predict that with a 9.7% display of force, Council cohesion will break within 2 cycles. Recommended protocol: target precision interdiction. 0 fatalities. Maximum impact. Emperor Rain nodded. Then let the stars whisper before they scream. Final scene of chapter. The first stroke. At the edges of the Council's mapped space, 3 systems go dark in perfect sequence. Communications are jammed. Gates are locked by Terran quantum jump interdictors. Council scout ships vanish without distress calls. No shots are fired. No soldiers land. No blood is spilled. But the message is clear. The Terran Empire has responded. And now, the galaxy holds its breath. The response. Scene 1. The Council's panic. The Galactic Council chamber, once composed and ordered, had turned into a chorus of chaos. Holograms flickered wildly as emergency transmissions overrode diplomatic channels. Delegates shouted over one another in dozens of languages, spoken, sung, clicked, and pulsed. Systems along the Terran border had gone silent overnight. No explosions, no invasions, just absence. Zaker of the Varelians stood at the central podium, his proud composure cracking. "This is an act of war," he shrieked. "The Terrans have violated every tenet of interstellar cooperation. They must be stopped before." "Before what?" came a voice smooth and cold from the back. It was Ambassador Catherine Vale, returned unannounced. All attention shifted to her as she calmly stepped forward. "You delivered your ultimatum," she said. "Now you're witnessing our response." Zaker bared his teeth. "You've attacked Council systems." "We've silenced only those that aimed weapons at us," she replied. "No lives lost. No territories claimed. Just a demonstration. We wanted you to understand what we're capable of before we're forced to do more." Scene 2. The hidden weapon. Far from the Council chamber, in Deep Space System Theta, VY-93, the Terran Black Fleet loomed like a phantom armada. No banners. No registry codes. These were stealth dreadnoughts and carrier shadows, warships built in secret, guided by AI logistics and near-light predictive algorithms. The fleet remained cloaked, positioned in overlapping strike patterns around several Council critical nodes. Admiral Halvorsen stood aboard the TNS Eclipse, watching Council fleets mobilize on intercepted feeds. "They still think they can intimidate us," he muttered. Leggett, the AI, appeared as a light form beside him. Threat assessment. Council combined fleets have numerical superiority but lack cohesive command. If they engage, they will lose in 3.2 cycles. And if they surrender, probability increasing. Halvorsen nodded. "Then hold fire. Let them feel the cage before we close it." Scene 3. The Council fractures. Meanwhile, within the Council itself, unity was crumbling. The Ocean Confederacy formally withdrew from enforcement measures, citing a desire for neutrality. Several smaller species, such as the diplomatic Leori and the merchant-driven the Nox, followed suit. Their trade relied heavily on Terran shipping lanes, and they feared economic collapse more than war. Zaker fumed, demanding sanctions and military action. But no consensus came. Then a classified broadcast reached the chamber. Scene 4. The broadcast. A galaxy-wide transmission intercepted across Council space. Emperor Dorian Rain, appearing without fanfare, seated upon a dark steel throne. His voice echoed with authority, translated instantly into every language. "To the Council of Worlds, you believed that the Terran Empire would bend to threats, that humanity, forged in the fires of its own extinction, would tremble before bureaucrats and coalitions. We did not attack. We restrained. We warned. And yet you raised a hand against us. We have shown you the measure of our resolve without drawing blood. Remember that mercy, for next time, there will be none. You sought to tame us. Instead, you have awakened the storm. Let this be the last ultimatum you ever deliver to Earth." Dorian Rain, sovereign of the Terran Empire. The screen went black. The silence afterward was total. Scene 5. A new order emerges. The response had worked terrifyingly well. A secret emergency summit was called. council members debating in hushed tones behind closed chambers. They spoke not of retaliation, but of compromise. Unofficial envoys were dispatched to the Sol system with veiled peace offerings. Terran operatives, hidden among neutral delegates, watched everything. Back on Earth, Emperor Rain watched the dominoes fall. "They've learned," he said quietly to his advisors, "not to love us. Not yet, but to fear us. That is enough." Vale, standing beside him, nodded. "They know we are not prey." Scene 6. Final moves. In the council shadows, the Varelians plotted retaliation, speaking with fringe warlords and rogue AI collectives. But even they understood, direct war would be suicide. The Ocean began quiet talks with Terran diplomats, seeking a separate alliance. Several fringe species openly requested Terran protection in return for resource trade. The galaxy's balance was shifting, no longer centered on ancient species, but now pivoting around the black iron will of humanity. Closing lines. In the end, the council did not fall. It simply became careful. Ultimatums were no longer issued. Demand were no longer barked. The stars, once ruled by consensus, now moved with caution, because in the void between them, humanity had spoken, and the galaxy would not forget their answer.